Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Living, and on here we get to know, we get to explore, and we definitely get to understand. So let's go straight into the video, shall we?
Bella, bad Bella, bad Bella.
He's allowed.
Bad
He's
Bella,
allowed. He's allowed.
bad Bella,
He's allowed.
bad
He's
Bella.
allowed.
So let's do this Nigerian advert style. Are you planning on going to a Nigerian university? Are you unsure as to whether you should go to a public university or a private university? Are there questions you have unanswered? Well, stay tuned because this channel is about to answer those questions. Was that horrible? Okay, so today on this channel I'm going to be giving a general overview of what to expect if you want to go to a Nigerian university, private or public. Now I'm aware that it's not just those two classifications, but in most cases people just tend to give the two of them like this separate private public. So that's how I'm going to see it today. And basically as a student, so if you are attending either one of those kind of universities, then yeah, I guess you can also concur with some of the things I'm saying or give constructive criticism if I get it wrong. But if you are planning on going to a university in Nigeria, then you might as well want to stay tuned, because as a student, this is what you should expect. So in the first place, the first thing that is so different in both of them is lifestyle. So if you're going to a private Nigerian university, in most cases these universities tend to be owned by religious bodies, like we have the Babcocks and the Covenants, and we also have the Crawfords. So, or in most cases they were owned by schools, like we have the Landmark and the Caleb, so on and so forth. So when it comes to lifestyle, student lifestyle, although it varies in all these private universities, but there is one thing they all have in common: they are not as like you have really strict rules that would tend to pave the way for you. Like, you're not going to be so expressive, open. Like, they have set standards that you definitely have to meet, and so your lifestyle basically rotates or revolves around the rules that the school has made. Trust me. But if you're going to a public Nigerian university, in most cases the university does have rules, but it's not as tight as it is in a private university, in the sense that, like, if you as a student now, if you just want to dress a certain kind of way, now I'm not saying you want to walk around naked or something, but if you want to dress a certain kind of way, you're free to an extent to do that, and you get to express yourself the way you'd like to express yourself. You choose the path you want to take, and like I said, the university does have rules, but no one has a say on how you are going to live your life. That is kind of the complete opposite if you're going to a private university. Oh, and I'm also aware that some private universities are owned by international bodies, and yes, even though they might not be as strict as those owned by religious bodies, they still have certain standards that you have to meet. If not, you are cut. So the second factor is going to be the most obvious factor: cost. And we all know, like, come on, people keep on making mouth about private universities, but they don't want to talk about the fact that if you go to a private secondary school, or if you just finish from a private secondary school, or some private schools now, nursery schools, pay tons of money for the fees, and that's what is to be expected if you're going to a private university. It is very expensive. Now, I know that not all private universities are that expensive, but compared to state-owned universities and federal universities, they tend to be very, very expensive. So, and yes, I am going to say right now that I did attend a private university, and I'm not going to spill on the university I attended, but I did attend one. So that's by the way. But if you do attend a public university, it tends to be more cheaper and affordable. And now when I say cheaper and affordable, I know that even some public universities, there are some people that can afford it, but when I'm comparing it to private universities, they tend to be cheaper and more affordable. The accommodation and everything tends to be relatively cheaper compared to if you are going to a private university. Then we also have another factor, that is the educational standard. Now, this one, I feel like people tend to think, or in most cases this is how it is, and I know that some people might come for me for what I'm about to say, but if you go to a private university, I don't know about all private universities, but most private universities that you will attend can be rest assured that your lectures and everything has got to be accounted for. Like, the lecturers are going to take classes seriously. And as a student, I'd love my classes to be taken seriously, but sometimes I just want to, lazy around. But trust me, you can't really lazy around in private universities. It's really, really strict, and you have every right to go back to your lecturer and question them as to why this happened and why it's happened. Because in the private university that I attended, if you get a test score and you don't like it, you can go back to the lecturer and question. Now, I know that that is like 80% of the time. The remaining 20% is like, I don't know, but that's the way it is. And you have like the facilities and everything are put there for you. So it's a really, really good environment. I mean, it's expensive, so they have to make sure that they take care of you. And then if it's a public university, now unfortunately I wouldn't like this to be the case when it comes to public universities, because they tend to have a wider variety of courses. Like in fact, like let's say only 50% of the courses offered in most public universities, that is federal, state, and polytechnics or whatever, are offered in private universities. So these universities have lots and lots of courses, and they are a lot bigger than the private universities. But the only problem now is that the way the staff is treated and the way they also tend to treat the students is fairly average or below average in most cases. You see, like, you hear a lot of funny stories going on here and there between lecturer-student relationship, and in most times the facilities that the student need to learn are not always put in place, or even if they are not good enough. You tend to hear all of this. So you should really expect this in most cases if you're going to a public university, which shouldn't be the case, because they should have this kind of infrastructure, but unfortunately they don't in most cases. So before anyone comes for me, I hope I made this point as clear as possible. And now, if you're also a student and you're planning on going to a private university, one factor that you should take note of is when it comes to building relationships in private university, like you have, how am I going to put it? Like, if you want to build relationships in private university, if it's a girl-to-girl relationship, yeah, fine, go ahead, that is very cool. But if you're building a boy-to-boy relationship, sorry, I said boy-to-boy relationship, a girl-to-boy relationship, like, you won't really have the freedom to really express yourself the way you'd like to. Like, and the reason why I'm saying this is because I'm also very aware of the fact that there are different kinds of private universities, but the most popular private universities are the ones that are owned by religious bodies, and there are certain rules that they have put in place to completely prevent people from having fun as youth. Trust me. So, like, building relationships can be a bit shaky because you'll be questioned as to where you're going, what you're doing, how you're doing what you're doing, and all of that. However, if you go to a public university, like I said, you're freer to express yourself, and you can move around with who you want to move around, and just as long as you're okay, you're good to go. Like, you also get to meet lots and lots of people. You get to mingle around with different classes of people, which is also very cool as well. Then the last factor I'm going to talk about here is public overview. Now, how the public will see you, trust me, plays an important, like in Nigeria, yeah, it's like public view, like people outside, when you're going to the uni or when you're done with the uni, because we're all going to, even though we all go to private or public universities or even travel out of the country, at the end of the day, majority of us are going to all stay under the same camp for NYSC. We're all going to go through camp orientation. So this is how the public tends to see you. So if you did go to a private university, or if you're planning to go to a private university, just expect this from people outside. For one, they're going to think that you are an ajebota. Yes, so if you're not familiar with the term ajebota, it just means someone who was born with a silver spoon, and in most cases it also means that you are spoiled. They don't see you as someone who can, stand on your own, because they feel like you've been tamed. You were tamed under your parents, and then you went to university to continue to be tamed. So they are going to paint you as a body and they are going to, you know, you trust me, they are going to make it seem like as if they know you're intelligent and everything, but they feel like as if you were like they pet you throughout your whole. Then if you attend a public university, they feel like it's two ways. They either see you as very mature and ready to face the outside world that is Nigeria, or they see you as wild and, you know, overly out there, if that's a word, because they tend to see public university students as, you know, the exposure they had was too much. And these people who are seeing you this way in most cases are going to be your uncles and aunties and the parents. They're the ones that are going to see you this way. So although I think the views are changing now, but trust me, I had lots of issues when I went for my NYC because I constantly had to, like, it's like I had to prove myself to my fellow core members because they all kept thinking I was poor. They all kept thinking that I couldn't do certain things because I had been pampered. You know, and it was mostly because of the fact that I attended a private university. And then I had to ask them, I was like, okay, so what school did you go to? Primary school, secondary school? Was it a private or a public? And then they'd be like, they attended private secondary schools, but they could, oh gosh, you know what, just know that people are going to see you as you're living in a bubble, okay? So in most cases, and then for the public universities, they will see you as very brilliant, they'll see you as a normal Nigerian, and they'll see you as matured. Oh yeah, and I'm having a bit of cold, so if you can hear it in my voice, please just sorry about that. So these are the factors I have right now, and thank you for listening. So if you know you're currently going there and there are more things you feel like I should have put into this video that I did not, please leave it in the comment section below. And if you're planning on going to university and you're confused, and if this helped you answer some questions, well, I'm glad it did. So thank you for watching, and until my next upload, see you later.